Kale stepped cautiously through the glowing doorway, the panther moving in perfect harmony beside him. The light inside the vessel was gentle yet radiant, illuminating walls that seemed alive with subtle, shifting patterns. Each pulse of energy echoed through the chamber, almost like the heartbeat of the ancient vessel itself. Kale felt a thrill of awe and respect. They had entered a place that had endured centuries, perhaps millennia, carrying knowledge that was older than most civilizations in the galaxy. The panther's ears twitched constantly, alert to the faintest sound or vibration. Its eyes scanned every corner, reflecting Kale's own curiosity and wariness. The creature's instincts were unmatched, and Kyle had learned long ago that this partnership was his greatest advantage. He trusted the panther to sense danger and guide him when words could not. The alien crew followed silently, their movements careful and deliberate. They had already begun to recognize the bond between human and panther as something unique, even remarkable. Kyle glanced back, offering a brief nod of reassurance, and the crew straightened their posture, motivated by his calm presence. He had always believed that courage was contagious, and this moment proved it true. The chamber ahead opened into a vast hall, the ceiling arching high above them like the interior of a cathedral. Energy patterns flowed along the walls, forming intricate designs that pulsed rhythmically. Kale stepped forward, mesmerized by the harmony of technology and beauty. It was a structure that seemed to merge purpose with artistry, designed to inspire awe and reverence. "Stay close," Kale whispered to the panther, feeling the weight of responsibility heavier than ever. The panther responded with a low, reassuring growl, brushing against his leg as if to say it was ready for whatever lay ahead. Together they moved deeper into the hall, guided by both instinct and intellect. As they progressed, the patterns on the walls began to shift, forming images that told stories. Scenes of beings traveling across galaxies, of civilizations rising and falling, of wisdom being passed from one generation to another. Kyle's heart swelled with a mix of wonder and humility. He realized that they were witnessing a chronicle of existence itself, preserved within the walls of this living vessel. Suddenly, the resonance of the vessel changed. The pulsing energy became sharper, more focused. The panther stiffened, its tail flicking with subtle warning. Kale slowed his steps, scanning the area carefully. There was a presence here, intelligent and deliberate, observing them as much as they observed it. He felt no fear, only the thrill of discovery. From the shadows, a form emerged. It was unlike anything Kale had seen before, a creature of energy and light shifting and flowing in patterns that resembled both a being and a vessel. Its presence was overwhelming yet serene, carrying an aura of ancient wisdom. Kale's breath caught, but he remained steady. The panther pressed close to him, a silent reminder of strength and loyalty. The entity spoke, not in words but in impressions, images and emotions that Kyle could sense directly in his mind. It was curious, cautious, and intelligent, seeking to understand the newcomers without harm. Kale focused, opening his mind to the communication. He felt the panther's presence beside him, its own consciousness linking subtly with his, creating a bridge of understanding. Kale allowed himself to feel the energy of the vessel, sensing patterns of knowledge and memory. The entity shared glimpses of history, civilizations traveling across star systems, lessons learned and preserved, challenges faced and overcome. Kale absorbed these insights, amazed by the breadth of understanding contained within a single living structure. The panther's eyes glowed faintly, resonating with the patterns, as if it too comprehended the significance of what they were witnessing. The entity shifted its focus, directing Kale's attention to a central core within the hall. A crystalline structure pulsed with energy, containing layers of encoded knowledge. Kyle approached cautiously, sensing that this core was the heart of the vessel. Every step felt momentous, as though they were walking toward the center of a living intelligence. The panther moved fluidly beside him, a silent guardian and companion. Kale reached out, placing his hand near the core. The energy responded, wrapping around him in a gentle embrace. Images and knowledge flowed directly into his mind. Star maps, technological schematics, histories of countless worlds, and insights into species that had long vanished. Kale realized that this vessel had preserved wisdom beyond any individual mind, and now it was sharing it with him. The panther pressed its head against Kale's side. Sensing the influx of information and providing comfort, Kale's heart swelled with gratitude. They were part of something far greater than themselves, a connection across time and space that emphasized the power of trust, courage, and partnership. Suddenly, the energy shifted again. The vessel sensed not only knowledge but also intent. Kale understood that it was testing them, assessing whether they could handle the responsibility that came with this understanding. The panther growled softly, a warning and a reassurance. Kale focused, projecting calm honesty and determination through his presence. They were explorers, yes, but they were also protectors of what they had discovered. The entity responded favorably, allowing access to more layers of knowledge. Kale studied schematics for advanced propulsion systems, energy manipulation techniques, and methods of interstellar communication. Each piece of information was presented with clarity and purpose, offering solutions to challenges Kale and his crew had faced and would face in the future. The panther's gaze followed every projection, alert to patterns and subtleties that Kale might miss. Kale felt a surge of responsibility. Knowledge alone was not enough. It had to be applied wisely. He glanced at the alien crew, whose expressions reflected awe and curiosity. They were witnesses to history, participants in a moment that would change the course of their civilization. Kale realized that leadership was not about power, but about guiding others with wisdom, courage, and empathy. The panther remained at his side, embodying all three qualities in a single presence. Hours passed, though time seemed fluid within the vessel. Kale and the panther absorbed as much as they could, committing essential knowledge to memory while noting areas for further exploration. The entity observed silently, acknowledging their diligence and integrity. Finally, it shifted, signaling that their session was complete. The vessel had shared its wisdom, and now it awaited their choices. Kale took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the moment. They had not only survived but had earned the trust of an intelligence that had endured for eons. The panther nuzzled his hand, a silent affirmation of their partnership. Kale smiled, realizing that they were stronger together than they could ever be alone. As they prepared to leave the hull, Kale glanced back at the crystalline core. Its light pulsed gently, as if acknowledging their respect and understanding. The vessel had not only imparted knowledge but had also recognized the humanity and integrity within Kale and the panther. It was a lesson in humility, courage, and the importance of connection across species and civilizations. The aliens followed quietly, their reverence for both Kale and the panther evident. They had witnessed a bond that transcended language, culture, and biology. Kale knew that this experience would shape not only their mission, but the future of interstellar exploration. The lessons learned here were priceless, emphasizing the value of trust, understanding, and cooperation. As they moved toward the exit, the resonance of the vessel followed them, a gentle hum that seemed like a blessing. Kale looked at the panther, whose eyes glimmered with pride and intelligence. They had faced the unknown together, and their partnership had proven stronger than any obstacle. Kyle knew that the galaxy still held countless mysteries, challenges, and opportunities. But he also knew that with courage, loyalty, and the bond he shared with the panther, they could face whatever awaited them. The journey was far from over, but this experience had forged a foundation of trust, wisdom, and unity that would guide them through every trial. As they stepped back into the hall from which they had entered, Kale felt a profound sense of purpose. The vessel had shared its heart, and in return it had recognized theirs. The panther brushed against his leg, a reminder that they were never alone. Together they would continue to explore, to protect, and to discover. In the silence that followed, Cale allowed himself a moment of reflection. The lessons of the vessel were clear. Understanding, trust, and courage were far more powerful than fear or aggression. The Panther's gaze met his, and he felt a deep gratitude for the partnership that had brought them this far. They were explorers, yes, but they were also guardians of knowledge, protectors of life, and a testament to the strength of connection. With one final look at the glowing hull, Cale and the Panther moved forward, ready to face the next chapter of their journey. The vessel's wisdom had equipped them, and their bond had strengthened beyond measure. Together they were unstoppable, a symbol of hope and resilience in a galaxy full of mysteries waiting to be unraveled. Kyle stood at the edge of the vessel's outer chamber, the Panther close at his side. The vastness of space stretched endlessly beyond the transparent hull, stars glittering like scattered diamonds across the infinite darkness. Every flicker of light reminded him of the mission ahead, the challenges that awaited, and the choices that would define their journey. Yet despite the unknown, Cale felt steady and strong. He had the Panther beside him, and together they carried a bond that went beyond words, beyond species, beyond the limits of ordinary understanding. The alien crew gathered behind him, their expressions a mixture of awe, respect, and anticipation. They had witnessed something extraordinary, human courage paired with instinctive partnership. Cale knew that his role as a leader was now more than a responsibility. It was an example. The galaxy was filled with civilizations, some thriving, some lost, and the path forward required diplomacy, wisdom, and unwavering resolve. The vessel's energy pulsed softly, almost rhythmically, like a heartbeat welcoming them as they prepared to leave. Cale reached out, allowing his hand to hover near the nearest console, sensing the flow of information still lingering within the ship. He knew that the vessel had shared its knowledge, yet it had also left them with a responsibility to carry this wisdom with care, to apply it with integrity, and to protect it for the benefit of countless civilizations. The Panther's eyes reflected the same understanding, a silent acknowledgement that this journey was not just about survival, but about stewardship. Cale took a deep breath. "We are ready," he said, his voice calm yet resolute. The Panther responded with a low, steady growl, affirming their unity. Together they moved toward the exit, leading the crew through the shimmering halls of the vessel. Every step was deliberate, every movement purposeful. They were no longer simply explorers, they were guardians, entrusted with knowledge far older and wiser than themselves. As they approached the doorway that led back to their own ship, the vessel's energy shifted once more. A soft hum filled the chamber, resonating with a frequency that seemed to touch both heart and mind. Cale paused, sensing the message contained within. The vessel had observed their courage, their empathy, and their unwavering partnership. It had tested them, and in return, it had offered not only wisdom but trust. The Panther brushed against Cale's leg, a gesture that conveyed mutual respect and shared understanding. The doorway opened, revealing the familiar interior of their spaceship. Cale stepped inside first, the Panther following closely, muscles coiled and alert. The alien crew moved with confidence, their previous hesitation replaced by inspired determination. Cale glanced back at the vessel one last time, feeling a sense of gratitude and reverence. It had been a teacher, a guide, and a reminder of the vast potential that existed when intelligence, courage, and compassion were combined. Once inside the ship, Cale moved to the control console. He studied the star maps projected before him, noting the trajectory they would follow to navigate safely through the uncharted sectors. The knowledge they had acquired from the vessel provided not only guidance but also solutions to challenges that had once seemed insurmountable. Cale felt a surge of hope. Humanity had always thrived through adaptability, courage, and ingenuity, and now they were equipped with insights that could expand those qualities across the stars. The Panther moved to his side, its gaze fixed on the console as if it understood the importance of their task. Kyle smiled, grateful for the silent partnership that had brought them this far. "We're going to need every ounce of courage," he murmured. "But I know we can do it." The panther responded with a soft nudge, a reminder that together they were stronger than any obstacle. The aliens, observing the interaction, began to murmur among themselves. They had seen countless species in their travels, yet none had demonstrated the combination of intellect, instinct, and empathy that Kale and the panther embodied. Kyle sensed their curiosity and respect. Leadership was not about domination or authority. It was about example, and he hoped his actions would inspire not just the crew but every life they encountered in the vastness of space. As the ship prepared to depart, Kale activated the engines. The hum of energy filled the cabin, the gentle vibration reassuring and steady. Stars streaked past as the vessel accelerated, gliding smoothly through the void. Kale felt the panther's presence beside him, calm yet alert, ready for any unforeseen challenge. The partnership they shared was not just companionship, but a strategic alliance, a bond that allowed them to face unknown dangers with confidence. Suddenly, the sensors detected movement ahead. Kale focused, reading the data carefully. A cluster of asteroid-like formations floated in the path of their trajectory, shifting unpredictably. He directed the ship to adjust its course, weaving through the obstacles with precision. The panther remained alert, ears flicking and tail coiling slightly as it sensed the subtle shifts in gravity and energy. Kale trusted the creature's instincts as much as his own, and together they navigated the hazard without hesitation. The crew watched in awe, understanding that this was not merely navigation, but a demonstration of the human capacity for adaptation and ingenuity. Kyle felt a quiet pride, not in himself, but in the partnership that had allowed them to overcome every challenge thus far. The vessel had imparted knowledge, yes, but it had also reinforced the value of collaboration, trust, and empathy, qualities that no technology alone could replicate. As they emerged from the asteroid field, a sense of calm settled over the ship. Kale leaned back slightly, allowing himself a brief moment of reflection. The panther curled beside him, its warmth and presence reassuring. They had faced the unknown together, absorbed wisdom beyond imagination, and emerged stronger and wiser. The journey ahead was still uncertain, but Kale knew that they were prepared. The alien crew moved efficiently, tending to the ship and preparing for whatever lay ahead. Kale watched them, understanding the importance of morale, guidance, and encouragement. Leadership required balance, patience, and humility, and the experiences within the ancient vessel had taught him more than any training or manual ever could. He glanced at the panther, whose gaze met his own with unwavering trust. Together they had become more than a human and a creature. They had become a symbol of courage, unity, and potential. As the ship traveled deeper into uncharted space, Kyle projected a series of plans onto the console, integrating the knowledge gained from the vessel. Star maps, technological schematics, and communication protocols appeared, allowing the crew to strategize and prepare for future missions. Every decision was informed by the insights they had received, but tempered with caution, wisdom, and respect for the unknown. The panther observed silently, an ever-present reminder of instinct, vigilance, and connection. Kale reflected on the journey that had brought them here. They had started as explorers, unsure of the path or the outcome, yet every challenge had been met with courage, intelligence, and teamwork. The vessel had tested them, revealing not only the potential of human ingenuity but also the profound value of partnership and empathy. The panther had been a constant guide, protector, and companion, embodying the qualities that Kale admired most: strength, intelligence, and loyalty. Hours passed as they charted a new course, navigating through nebulae and star clusters. Kale's focus remained unwavering, and the panther mirrored his alertness. The crew worked seamlessly, inspired by the leadership and unity displayed before them. Every decision, every maneuver, every observation reinforced the message that humanity, when combined with trust, wisdom, and courage, could thrive even in the most challenging environments. As night fell over distant planets and stars shimmered across the void, Cale allowed himself a rare moment of quiet reflection. The panther rested its head on his shoulder, a gesture of trust and companionship. Cale felt a profound gratitude for the bond they shared, understanding that their connection had been as crucial as any technology or knowledge gained. Together they were ready for anything the galaxy could present. Suddenly a soft hum filled the cabin, a reminder of the vessel's lingering presence and guidance. Cale smiled, recognizing it as a symbol of trust and acknowledgement. They had been tested and had proven worthy. The galaxy was vast, filled with mysteries and wonders, but Cale knew that with courage, wisdom, and the partnership of the Panther, they could face anything. The ship sailed onward, stars streaking past like a river of light. Cale stood at the helm, the Panther beside him and the alien crew moving efficiently around them. Together they represented not only exploration but hope, unity, and the extraordinary potential of humanity. Every challenge they had faced had strengthened them, and every lesson learned had prepared them for the unknown. Cale looked at the endless expanse before them, a sense of purpose filling his heart. The Panther's eyes met his, reflecting intelligence, strength, and unwavering loyalty. Together they had become more than explorers. They had become guardians of knowledge, protectors of life, and symbols of courage in a galaxy filled with both wonder and uncertainty. As the ship glided through the stars, Cale knew one truth above all. Humanity's greatest strength lay not in technology alone, but in courage, empathy, and the bonds we forge along the way. The spaceship hummed with a quiet rhythm, almost like the heartbeat of a living creature. Cale sat cross-legged in the central command room, his fingers tracing patterns on the smooth metal floor. Beside him, the Black Panther, sleek and powerful, shifted its weight and stretched with a grace that seemed almost alien. Its eyes glimmered like dark gemstones, reflecting the pale blue light that filtered through the spaceship's reinforced windows. Cale gently pressed his hand against the Panther's head, feeling the warmth and strength beneath the fur, a silent conversation passing between them without words. Beyond the immediate comfort of the room, shadows moved. The crew of alien beings worked in low murmurs, their forms blurred in the dim light. Cale didn't need to see them clearly to understand their intent. Each movement was deliberate, careful, as if they were walking a tightrope of tension. Cale's mind wandered to the mission ahead. The galaxy was vast, and they were venturing into regions where even seasoned explorers feared to go. This mission was different. Not about discovery, not about conquest, but about survival and connection. Suddenly the lights dimmed further, a soft red glow pulsing through the corridors. Cale's instincts sharpened. He had faced danger before, but there was something unfamiliar about this signal. The Panther's ears twitched and its tail lashed lightly. Cale could feel the tension vibrating through the creature. "Something's coming," he murmured, his voice low. The Panther pressed closer, as if confirming the warning he already sensed. Cale rose, stepping carefully toward the command console. The holographic screens flickered to life, projecting star maps and unfamiliar symbols. The alien crew looked to him for guidance, their eyes reflecting trust and uncertainty. Cale studied the maps, trying to interpret the patterns. Something was moving in the uncharted sectors, a presence large and deliberate. He could not tell if it was friend or foe, but his gut told him it was neither casual nor harmless. The Panther moved beside him, muscles coiled like a spring. Cale could feel the bond between them strengthening, as if the creature could sense the unfolding threat with the precision of a seasoned warrior. Its gaze locked on the nearest doorway, unwavering, almost sentient in its focus. Cale nodded. He understood. Together they would face whatever came next. As the spaceship drifted closer to the anomaly, the red glow intensified. The walls vibrated faintly and the air felt thicker, almost electric. The alien crew murmured, exchanging looks of concern. Cale's hand brushed the console, activating a series of sensors. Streams of data flowed across the screens, showing strange energy fluctuations and an unknown life form. It was massive, larger than any ship they had ever encountered. Its movements were deliberate, almost purposeful, circling them in the darkness of space like a predator assessing its prey. Cale turned to the panther, whose tail flicked with silent urgency. He understood the creature's emotions better than any alien or human could understand another species. It was a shared language built on trust and years of mutual respect. Cale had trained with many, learned from many, but none had this combination of raw power and deep intelligence. The panther was more than an animal. It was a partner, a guardian, a guide. "Prepare for engagement," Cale said softly, his voice steady. The alien crew moved efficiently, their prior hesitation replaced by precision. Shields hummed as they activated, energy cascading in protective layers across the hull. Cale felt the weight of responsibility, not just for the crew or the ship, but for the panther beside him. This was more than a mission. This was a test of loyalty, courage, and instinct. The anomaly's shape became clearer as they approached. It was not a natural formation, but an immense vessel, ancient in design with energy patterns that pulsed rhythmically. It seemed alive, almost aware. Cale could sense the enormity of its presence, and he knew that intelligence, unlike anything they had ever encountered, lay within. The panther growled softly, a low vibration that resonated through Cale's chest. He calmed the creature with a gentle touch, whispering in the quiet that they would face this together. Suddenly, the spaceship shuddered. A beam of energy struck the hull, not with aggression but with probing curiosity. The lights flickered, alarms sounded softly, and Cale's heart raced. This vessel was studying them, learning them. He directed the ship to maneuver, avoiding sudden movements that might provoke it. Every decision mattered. The crew watched Cale, their hope resting on his instincts, which he shared silently with the panther. It was a partnership built not on command but on understanding. Cale leaned close to the panther, feeling its body tense against his. They shared a brief moment of calm in the storm of uncertainty. The panther's eyes reflected intelligence, strategy, and patience. Cale realized that whatever awaited them required not just courage but unity. The creature beside him was more than a companion. It was a bridge between the known and the unknown. As the ancient vessel loomed closer, a resonance filled the room, a sound almost musical in its complexity. The aliens froze, unsure how to interpret it. Cale raised his hand, signaling caution. The resonance seemed to react to the presence of the panther, shifting in tone, almost acknowledging them. Cale's mind raced. If the creature could communicate in its own subtle way, perhaps it could influence the vessel's intentions. He felt a spark of hope, fragile but real. The ship drifted within a cautious distance, and Cale initiated a slow approach. The panther's tail swayed, matching the rhythm of the vessel's energy. Kyle's eyes narrowed, reading patterns, anticipating movement. They were engaged in a silent negotiation, a dance of understanding. The aliens in the background watched, awestruck by the harmony between human and creature. Time seemed to stretch. Every second mattered. Cale felt the pressure, yet his confidence grew with the panther at his side. The resonance shifted again, this time warmer, more curious than threatening. Cale's heart lifted. Perhaps, just perhaps, they could communicate without conflict, bridging species and intelligence in a way no one had done before. Cale extended his hand toward the nearest control panel, activating a projection of the vessel's interior. Strange symbols floated in midair, intricate patterns that seemed to pulse with life. The panther's eyes followed each movement, tracking the resonance and energy flows instinctively. Cale studied the patterns, trying to find a connection, a point of understanding. He realized that intuition, trust, and calm observation were as crucial as technology. The panther leaned closer, almost offering guidance, and Cale smiled. This was the partnership he had trained for, the test he had hoped for. The resonance changed once more, and this time, a doorway of energy appeared on the vessel. A soft, inviting glow suggested passage rather than aggression. Cale's heart pounded with anticipation. He looked at the Panther, and they shared a moment of unspoken agreement. They would enter together as one force of courage, curiosity, and unity. The aliens behind them murmured in awe and cautious excitement, understanding that history was being written in that silent, charged moment. Kyle took a deep breath. With the Panther at his side, he stepped forward toward the doorway. The ship responded, aligning with their movement as if acknowledging their intention. The resonance now carried a tone of recognition, a quiet affirmation that they were not intruders but explorers worthy of attention. Kale's confidence soared. The partnership he shared with the Panther, the loyalty and intuition, had opened a path that technology alone could not achieve. As they crossed the threshold, the chamber within the vessel unfolded in a breathtaking display of light and structure. The walls shimmered with energy patterns that seemed to breathe. The Panther's fur bristled slightly, a mixture of awe and caution. Kale's eyes scanned the environment, cataloging, analyzing, yet also absorbing the wonder. This was a place of history, intelligence, and perhaps wisdom beyond measure. He felt a sense of purpose, knowing that their mission had evolved from survival to understanding, from fear to exploration. Kyle and the Panther moved together through the chamber, a seamless combination of instinct, strategy, and empathy. The aliens behind them followed, inspired by the human's courage and the Panther's insight. Every step was deliberate, every glance meaningful. They were not just traveling through space but bridging worlds, connecting minds and hearts across the unknown. The resonance enveloped them, a gentle hum of acknowledgement guiding them deeper into the vessel's mysteries. Kyle knew that this was only the beginning. The path ahead would challenge their courage, intelligence, and unity. Yet with the Panther at his side, he felt unstoppable. Together they were more than human and animal. They were a force of understanding, a beacon of hope, and a testament to the power of trust and connection. The journey had shifted from mere exploration to a profound discovery of alliance, insight, and the true potential of humanity's courage among the stars.